Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about adding and subtracting real numbers. For this lesson, I need to get you familiar with a couple of pictures. First, when I'm talking about the number 1, I will represent it with one black square. Therefore, if I'm talking about the number 2, it'll be represented with two black squares. Since we're going to be dealing in negative numbers today, a negative 1 to be different from a positive 1 will be one red square, and therefore negative 2 would be represented by two red squares. We started off early today with a very simple problem that we had in first grade. The problem was 6 plus 5. How did we handle that when we were in first grade? Well, we remembered that we always start at 0, and the very first thing we do is go to the right 6, because positive numbers go to the right. From here, we realized that since it said plus, they wanted us to add 5 more. And so we went and did 5 more and ended up at the answer number 11. We learned that there was another way to be able to do this, and we used to do that with blocks, or Unifix cubes, or little counters. And if I set them up with the blocks I showed you earlier, you can tell that I have 6 plus 5 here. And all we have to do from here is realize that we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. We know we can count these because we can count things that are exactly the same. From here, we went on to a more advanced problem. And we found out that if we knew how to handle the problem 6 plus 5, we could also handle the problem negative 3 plus negative 5. Knowing that negative numbers go to the left, we always start at 0. And notice if I go 3 steps to the left, I end up at negative 3. If I go 5 more steps to the left, I end up at negative 8. And that's how we get our answer. We can also see this with some blocks. You'll notice that once again, if we count these up, 3 plus 5, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we have 8 negative blocks, so that stands for negative 8. And that's all adding negative numbers is. You're just counting up the number of negative numbers. Then comes a very, very important piece to our puzzle for what we're going to do next. Negative 1 plus positive 1. What do you think the answer is going to be? If you said the answer was 0, you were right. Because what the directions tell us is negative 1 means go one number to the left. And then positive 1 means go one number to the right. And if you notice, you end up right back where you started. And this is called a zero pair. Any two numbers that add up to 0 is called a zero pair. And you'll notice I have negative 1 block, and I have one red block and one black block. They both add up to 0, and so we call them a zero pair. And they disappear. There can be all kinds of zero pairs. Here's another example. 3 plus negative 3. Notice what the problem is saying. Positive 3 means go to the right 3 steps, while negative 3 means go to the left 3 steps. And if you go to the right 3 and back to the left 3, you're going to end up right back where you started at 0. If we did this with blocks, you would notice that there are 3 blacks and 3 reds, and they cancel themselves out. For parents, it's much like protons and electrons. They always cancel each other out. Students, you'll learn about that in 8th grade. There's a fancy name for this. It's called the addition of opposites, where the sum of an integer and its opposite is always 0. So how do we use this? We use this in problems where there's positive and negative numbers being added. If you follow the number line, you can get this answer really easily. All you have to do is go 2 to the right, and then we want to go 5 to the left, because negative numbers go to the left. And where do we end up? At negative 3. Whereas if we use the blocks, you would be able to notice that we have 2 black boxes and we have 5 red boxes. Notice, 1 negative and 1 positive equals 0. Therefore, 2 negatives and 2 positives would zero each other out also. What do we have left? 3 negatives, or the answer is negative 3. Get it? Let's try another. Think about what you think the answer might be here. If you said the answer was 1, nice. Because what the directions tell us on the number line is start at 0, go to the left 3, and then go to the right 4. And we end up right there at number 1. If we look at the blocks, you'll notice there are 3 reds and 4 blacks. 3 of the reds and 3 of the blacks become a 0 pair, and all they do is they vanish. See it again? They vanish. Notice there's 1 black box left, and that's why the answer is positive 1. We learned that we are going to want to see if there are any patterns in these movements that we're making right now. Because if I give you a larger number, or heck, even in the hundreds with positives and negatives, it's not going to be beneficial to be having counters that many counters or making a number line go that high. Even in this situation, you'll notice that we're not quite as accurate as we were on the previous ones. We end up getting -8 for our answer. If you look at the blocks, please check this out. This took forever. But I can simply take away all the blacks and all the reds to create a 0 pair. And if you count properly, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red blocks, or -8 for an answer. And that was our lesson. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. We'll do more tomorrow, so let me know what you think. Thank you.